Okay, so Python, finally. I know you know Python already, so let's move this quick. Um, Python can give you two ways of user interface: command line user interface or other user interface, like a graphical user interface. So one of the graphical user interface is to use Python. So you can use Python, but um, command line is more developers uh, favor or preference. In command line, uh, the Python, you can handle those things, the arithmetic operations, and the variables and values, I think you already know. So what I am going to do, I want you to load your IPYNB file on your Google Colab. You know Google Colab already, right? So if you come to the Google Colab, this Google Colab, this is not Google Colab here. So I loaded it. 505. So today we will look at the values and variables. So I wrote two parts. How values can be assigned to a variables and how to use that variables. Two things. In part one, so values that may be available in Python's integer. Oops, we should not do double click. If I do double click here, then that is editor mode. So I need to do only, so integer, like 1, 2, 3, that is an integer. And the floats, that's floating numbers. So 1, 2, 3, dot 45. Strings, the sequence of characters. So usually in Python, if you declare a string, then you need to put the quote and unquote. Boolean, there's a true or false type of the values. Okay, so for example, John Yoon, that is a string. And string can be assigned to the variable name. So in this case, John Yoon is a value in string value, and name is a variable. So when you print a name, then you can see the name, right? So this is a variable. If you want to print it, then you can print. This is the outcome. Outcome comes just right below that. This is code block, and the other one is text block. So this Google Colab is very, very user-friendly tools for us to collaborate. I can collaborate this with you directly, Kevin. If I ask you to join this page, then you and I together working on the same page. But I do not want to do that. Number one, I want you to keep your file on your own. If I ask you to come, then this will be my files. You don't get your files. Yeah, that is a major reason. So practice 1.1 here, I ask you to put your name. So you can do my name equals Kevin. That's another one is what happens here. The equal sign, Kevin. Equal sign is kind of a binary. So there is a left side and right side. So equal sign is on assignment. So right side value will be assigned to the left side value, left side variables. So if we have, for example, your name, and then if I say just like this, then it gives me an error, because if this equal sign, as I said, equal sign is a right hand side value needs to be assigned to left hand side. If you see the right hand side, Kevin is not the value yet. Kevin is unknown symbol, right? Kevin will be a value if I assign some value here, say here, then it'll be okay. Your name is a Kevin. Print your name, then Kevin comes out here. But without this, Kevin is not a value, nor it is can be evaluated. It cannot be evaluated. If it is evaluated, then because this is like a variables, it can be evaluated if it has already defined somewhere, predefined, then it can be evaluated. But this is not a value. If it is a value, then no need to evaluate. We simply assign. If it is not a value, then we have to evaluate it. In order to evaluate that variable, then the variable needs to be defined earlier. But there's nothing defined earlier about Kevin. Therefore, there will be an error. So if you run this, then we will have an error. Oops. This should be rerun. So we have to restart sessions. Yeah. Previously, Kevin was already known in this. So this guy, I know it, Kevin. But if Kevin is a brand new, and also if it was not defined earlier, then it gives me an error, and it says name Kevin is not defined. Okay. Likely, on the right hand side, we could have a number. Number itself is a value. It's not a string. It's not a variable. Number is itself a value. So we don't need to do anything. If we say 7 assigned to number 1, then number 1 holds the value 7. Number 2 equals 5, then number 2 holds the value 5. So we can see the numbers, for example, print number plus another number equals another number, and then, as I said, this curly braces is a placeholder, and I want to do format to assign my value there, so that I can say number 1 and number 2, and like this, very similar to I need to have one more here so that I can see 5 plus 2 equals 12. It comes from the first placeholder will be number 1. Second placeholder will be number 2. Third one here is an expression. So this expression needs to be fit in here, but it should be evaluated. Everything here should be evaluated. These are the variables, so they need to be evaluated. Number 1, go back earlier statements and see what it is. Number 2, go back earlier statements, because there is an assignment. Oh, number 2 is nothing but 5, so 5 comes here. And then the third arguments here, number 1 plus number 2, that is an expression, that is an arithmetic expression, so that needs to be executed. So this should be executed, and that is the result of this is put in this place. Therefore 5 plus 7 equals 12. Likely, if we have multiplication, then we have here multiplications. So 5 times 5, 7 5 times is 35. We can do similar things, for example, that, and another that, and that, so many things. Okay, so altogether it looks like this. 7 divided by 5 is 1.4. That is right. 7 double slash gives us the quotient. Okay, 7 divided by 5 means 1.5. So I want to quotient only 1. In order to get that, we need to have 7 slash 5. Then we will have 1. If we want to have the remaining, not in this decimal points, but remainder only, 7 divided 5, then it can be divided by 1. And then what is the remnant? Remnant is 2, right? So this for the remnant. So this is for or remainder. This gives me the quotient. Quotient only. This slash means the result of division. If you have a double star, that is exponent. Exponential. So for example, 7 to the power 5, then 7 should be multiplied by 7 how many times? 5 times. Then we have 16,807. So given this assignment, we can do some of the arithmetics operations. So this guy explains about the left side of the equal sign, right hand side of equal sign. As I said, the right side needs to be evaluated. We already did it here. Plus means in mathematics, like here, that's adder, right? 7 plus 5, then that is the adder. But we can do also like this. Greeting is hello. But when I want to add, name is already named above here, right? Name is John Yun. So if I say greeting plus name, then it gives me hello, 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 comma, and space. There's a string. And then plus sign. Name is another string. Therefore, we can do hello, John Yun. If I have only, there's no space in hello, then it gives me hello, comma, no space, John Yun. Right? Okay, Kevin? If I have here John, hello, comma, no space, but close the quote, and if I plus sign, then string plus string is not the adder, not an adder, but a concatenator. So that is a concatenator. We can, two strings can be sticked together. Hello and John Yun stick together, therefore there's no space, right? If you want to make space, then you can do, for example, space here, and then plus, then three things can be concatenated. Greeting, there is one string. Space, there is another string. And name is another string. Therefore, it'll be hello, comma, that is one string. And then space, that is the string in the middle arguments. And then third arguments, John Yun, that is a name. So in this way, you can display the result of your programs in the way that you design. We can practice here. When I click this, then the first one is okay. Number 3 equals number 1 plus number 2. So if I have commented this out, then we will get the result. I can do here. I can do print. No. I can do print number 3. Fine. So number 1 is 7, number 2 is 5. Therefore, number 1 plus number 2 on the right side, then that should be computed. And the result 12 needs to be assigned to number 3. So when I print number 3, then I have 12. Perfectly fine. But when I do here other, okay, so other is again plus a sign. So number 3 plus a name. Remember, name is a string, John Yun. Number 3 is, number 3 we have here 12. So 12 plus number 3. See what happens. There's an error, right? Because unsupported operand type for plus, first one is integer, second one is a string. Therefore, this plus sign cannot do adding them. If we want to add, then two things needs to be value. But name is not the value, so we cannot add. If it is not addable, then we need to concatenate. Number 12, that's not the string. So we cannot concatenate. Therefore, we have an error, right? In order to concatenate this, what should we do? This is the number, so we have to change that number to string. Then it'll be this, number 12 and John Yu. How can a number can be converted to a string? That is very similar to the way that we have here. For example, let's say age equals input. How old are you? Okay, if I say, look at this code, how old are you? So that I can enter, hey, my age is 11. When I hit enter, then you are 11 years old, right? You are you are 11 years old. Fine. So 22, then you are 22 years old. Perfectly fine. How come this is possible? Because the age is, so what is the type of age? Is the age integer or a string? That is my question. Age is a string. 22. Then it says a string. String plus a string, that is that, right? So if I say let's say your salary is based upon your age. Let's assume. So okay, Kevin, take the age, and I can give you the salary based upon your age. So if you are 10 years old, I'll give you $10,000 per year. I can give you $1,000. And when I do this, see what happens. Let's say 22 years old. I want $22,000. What happens here? My salary is this many. Right, 1,000 times over 22. I wish I could. I don't need that much money. I need 1,000th of that. That's enough either. But anyway, in order to make it sense, what should we do? This string needs to be converted to integer. So there is an int function. So we can do int age can be converted to integer before we multiply it. Then we will have 22,000. This is perfectly the sense that we want, right? 22,000, that's what we want. I want to see here, if you have the string, that string comes from number keyboard, so that it can be converted to integer, then it'll be an integer. In reverse, if you have a number and change it to string, then you need to have str. All right? So here we use string, int function. Here we have str function. Question? No. Okay, so the other one here, value, yeah, we looked at that already. And then the other one is a logical evaluation, 1.3. Logical evaluation 5 is greater than 3, and if we evaluate that, then it gives me true, right? This itself can be evaluated, and the result of this evaluation will be the Boolean values. So result of the evaluation will be a Boolean, which means true or false. Okay, so Boolean. That Boolean can be combined with other Booleans. 5 is greater than 3 and 10 is greater than 5. Then see here, let's practice here. So if we have a true and true, it returns what? That's true, right? If we have a true and false, then it returns false. If we have a false and false, again it returns false. So this connector compares the left side and right side, whether it's false or true. If we have an AND, then either side, at least one side is false, then entire will be false, right? If we have OR, then either side is true, then it'll be true. In other words, if we have false or false or false, finally if you say true, then it'll be true. Okay? But if you have, on the other hand, if we have true and true and true and true and false, then entire will be false. Okay? It doesn't matter how many truths that you have. At least if you say anything in this expression false, then it'll be false. And true, still that is false. Okay? So depending upon that, we can do this. And this is a false, but if you have all in the parentheses, at the end if you say not, that entire will be flipped from false to true. Look this. So it'll be true. Because it says it is not the case of the evaluation of this. How to use the variables? We can use the variables. For example, dividend is 10, divisor is 3. Then we can print like this. Dividend divided by divisor, the first print statements gives me 3.33333333. If you want to put that in a the string, then you can say in this string using the placeholder. So curly braces divided by curly brace is curly brace. So first curly brace is a dividend, and the second curly brace is a divisor, and then third one is the computations. Then we will have this second one here. Finally, if you want to have, if this is the dollar, then to place decimal points, then you need to have 3.33 like this. In order to do it, then you need to have it like this, colon dot 2f. Okay, 2f is the modifier, so I want to have only 2 decimal points, 2 places of decimal points of this floating expression. So I have 3.33. Colon here means, I didn't put here the colon, but you can put colon here. For example, I want to do this third colon, and this is a first colon, and this is the first, second, and third in reverse ways. If we do this, then still you have, this guy says 2 here, the division, the computation comes here first. So 3.33333 divided by middle one, divisor, which is the 3, is the last one here is the first one, dividend, which is number 10. But rather than number 10, I want to put here, is there any decimal points? Number 10 means 10.00. That's what it is, right? So this number and colon, number means that is the positions, first one and second one. If I said number 2, then third argument comes here. Third arguments fill in this placeholder. Number 1 means second argument here. That can fill in this placeholder. Number 0 means first argument needs to fill in, but there's a modifier. It has this. Okay?
I know there's another way to do the format. If you put the F in the front of the quotation marks, how would you describe the length that you like for the decimal places? How would you do that if you use?
Not in that way.
Oh, you can't.
Right, because that is a string, right? This is only, you need to format. Using the format function, then you can use that.
Okay.
So that is the reason that we use this. This is much more powerful. Dot format functions. Okay, and I have 3 homework assignments. Homework 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. I think you can do it. One thing that I ask you to do here, no, not this. Number 1 here. I think this is not, I will, if you see your, I think this is my mistake. If you see your notebook, then this code number 2 comes up after this problem number 1, 1.1. This goes to below this homework description 1.2. Homework 1.1 that is completely different ones. I said write a code to get the quotient from the division without using slash slash. Remember that we have here slash slash. Not here. I think I did that somewhere up here. Yeah, here. Slash means that is the result of the division. Slash slash means that is a quotient. My question here. So without using this slash slash, I want you to get this. For example, 5 divided by 7 divided by 5, and I want to the quotient, number 1. Hint here is that I know my quotient, I know my remnant. If I know the original and my remnant, then I can see my quotient. So without this, I want you to use it. Hint for that is, if you use int here, for example, here, this one division gives me 1.4. But if I put here int, then it gives me 1, right? So that's a hint for this.
If you use,
I said use the built-in functions. What is yours?
oh, I was gonna say, if you use the format, do it 0 decimal places.
You can do that, right? You can do, yeah, no decimal points, then it can be a quotient. Yeah, you can do that too. Yeah. Let's see. So here, like this. No, I'm going to yeah. This is a quotient. Smart. Any questions? Okay. Good luck on your homework assignments. I think it is too easy to you. But anyway, I want you to do it. Okay, I'll stop the lecture for today.